Let's go back to Will Whitson at the Emergency Operations Center. Will, I know you were there for the briefing with the governor, also with the general earlier, to bring us up to date on the operational conditions around the state.
Absolutely, Judy. Now, we are still at OpCon 1, the highest alert level for the state, operating condition 1. Now, of course, they're giving some updates right now on when shift changes will be taking place. You can hear them behind me. They've been getting on the speaker system every now and again to give updates throughout the day, and that's how they're making sure to get a lot of information through the EOC here. Now, Judy, I did want to reiterate, I did hear you and John talking about the Lake Murray Dam, and Derek Becker with SCEMD, he wants to reiterate, he's been getting a lot of concern calls about the dam. A lot of people here have been fielding calls about the dam. There is not a concern about the structural integrity of the Lake Murray Dam. They say that dam is designed to withstand this kind of pressure. He says they don't want any rumors like that to spread. There's no issue with the structural integrity of that dam. So just what John was saying earlier, that is absolutely true. There is not a problem with that dam. Now, on that same vein, though, they are urging, DHEC, EMD, they are urging caution around dams. People to be very careful. Of course, we have seen some fail. We have seen some overflow throughout the day and are continuing to see that as river levels continue to rise. So you do need to exercise a lot of caution around these areas. Now, Judy, I did also want to go back to a question you asked me earlier in my last live hit regarding businesses closing for the day. Now, this is what Governor Haley said earlier at that press conference. She said she strongly encourages businesses to operate what's called inclement weather schedules. Now, that would be closing for bad weather, essentially, or operating on delay, or any type of schedule that takes into account that roads are in bad condition, that it may not be possible for employees to get into work. And she is strongly encouraging businesses to take those steps. Now, here is the issue, though, and this is an age-old question of government versus private enterprise. And that's a political discussion that really is for another day, not a day like today, but it's a question of can government order private enterprise, private businesses to close down? And if there is not a curfew operating, that does only give Governor Haley, the state and state government, so few options with this. So it is a strong encouragement. She cannot tell private businesses not to open, but she's strongly encouraging them to be very smart about this. I've been looking at the SCDOT road closings. We have road closings all over the state, many in Charleston, many right here in Richland County. Now, the big areas where we've seen a lot of this are Sumter, Richland, Dorchester, Charleston counties, Aiken County. Many areas where we're seeing washed out roads. You're seeing interstates washed out. It's very difficult for people to get on the road and get to work or to and from work. We've seen this the past couple of days. And so there is a strong urgency for employers to be smart, to think about their employees. And as I said before, I have heard many employees of private businesses saying that they had to take the option of safety and not come in. And while I can't encourage people to do that one way or another, that is something people need to think about, is the safety of those roads. Of course, you've heard Governor Haley, you've heard General Livingston say, don't be on the roads. They said, we don't want to have to come rescue you on the road, because they're busy trying to maintain the road, infrastructure and carry out other search and rescue operations. So there is a sense that if you don't need to be on the road, don't be on the road. And so that's why they're making that encouragement. Now, you do have many state offices that are closing tomorrow. Now, Governor Haley said in her press conference that state agencies would follow suit of county agencies. So you are seeing a handful of county and state agencies closing for tomorrow, school districts closing. As you just said, Adventure is closing tomorrow. Now, I did receive several concerned emails earlier about USC Aiken. They are operating as business as usual tomorrow, holding classes. However, they did send out a statement earlier, an alert, urging their students to be safe. They say if you do not feel like you can safely get into class, if roads are flooded, if you cannot get there safely, do not risk your life to come to class. They say that professors have been asked to excuse any students that cannot make it to class due to safety reasons. So even though USC Aiken is open, they are exercising caution when it comes to telling their students what to do tomorrow. Caution is the name of the game here in terms of watching these roads, watching these bridges. I told you earlier about just the sheer amount of pressure that these bridges and roads are receiving with all this water flowing through. And that's why we're seeing so many of these roads wash out. And that's why it's so imperative not to be on it. Because as General Livingston said earlier, you may be on a road that seems fine, but you don't know what's happening underneath that. You don't know if the soil has eroded underneath the road. You don't know what kind of structural issues are happening, if a sinkhole is opening up. And in fact, if you can't see the road through water, as we've heard John and the rest of the meteorologists on our on the First Alert weather team say, it just takes a few inches to wash away a small car, maybe a foot of water to wash away a truck. And even if you can't, if it's not that high, you may not know what's underneath that water. You may not be able to have that visibility. You don't know what the road conditions are. So there are really so many unknowns that it's not worth it to take those kind of risks. Now, of course, I'm going to be following, keeping updates throughout the evening here at EMD. They are all hands on deck through these curfews, and really we're going to be seeing them operating for days after the rain subsides, because once the rain and the floodwaters go away, that requires a lot of coordination to start looking at damage assessment. So really, we're going to be dealing with the effects of this flood for months to come, just in terms of filing claims, looking at what damage is there, and rebuilding. So this is going to be a story that really is going to affect South Carolina for a long time. Now, Judy, as I said, I'm staying on top of everything. You can follow me on Twitter at Will Whitson, WIS. I'm tweeting updates as I get them. Now, of course, you also have the public information phone system line that's set up here at EMD. That is a 24/7 phone system where you can call. It's all volunteer. They will give you information, any information you need regarding road closings, school closings, anything, or they will refer you to the agency that can help you out. Now, I have that number here. It is 1-866-246-0133. Again, that is 1-866-246-0133. Now, that number will relay you to a call center here at the Emergency Operations Center. They're operating 24/7 to answer your questions. You can email me, tweet me. I'll try and get your questions answered as well. Judy, I'm going to throw it back to you at the studio.
All right, Will, I know you're there at the Emergency Operations Center, but when you do head out and about, you keep it safe too. Little baby Nora is expecting her daddy home safe and sound when the threat is all clear.